segment, the panic meter, where we'll go through 5 people's teams for this
Oh,
week,
I need to get
and
a
we
Discord
will
for this.
rank on what level of panic we think these teams should be at in the season. We will start this week with Bill's team, Allen Allen and Associates. He's sitting at 2-3. He's had a pretty solid season so far. He's got a little bit unlucky with some of the teams he's faced. He's lost some close games. As you see his team there, pretty solid. He's got another big test though this week, so he could get unlucky again as he's facing another hot team with the Rat. Where are we ranking this panic meter at for Bill's team? Rat, you're facing him this week. Where would you put the panic meter for Bill
Um,
at this moment at 2-3?
I'm gonna put in perfect. He's fine. I'll tell you
Perfectly
this right
fine, no
now.
worry at all.
Well, I mean, you could put it in the middle of Dash and Worry and perfectly fine. Like, put it between them. Like, right there. Yeah, right there's good enough.
Okay,
Bill
really?
might go 2-4, but after this week, he just, he has his schedule. He'll face shitters, and his team's looking good. He
Okay,
has a playoff team. He'll be fine.
okay,
And that's
interesting
all I have
take
to
there.
say. He has
Okay,
good players, and
all
he has a
right,
good team.
all right. Zombie.
I also think it's a Dash Warrior. I think he's gonna make the playoffs.
Wow. Okay.
Although, if only thing that could derail that
Mhm.
is if my boy Keenan gets hurt.
Okay.
Oh,
Wow, are you
Oh,
wishing that on your team?
wow.
wow.
What is wrong with
What
you?
kind of thought is
That's not
that,
what I
though?
said. What?
Oh,
Oh,
You're
like,
talking
why would you
stupid.
yeah.
even bring that
Why
chance
would
of
you even
happening
think
up?
about it?
Yeah.
Well,
Have
Hey,
you ever heard
the
of
only
Jinx?
oh, okay then. The only thing that could derail it is if his boy Monty gets hurt there.
Oh,
there you
okay.
go. That's better.
Okay, interesting. All right, Pook, where are you ranking this
I
panic?
I'm putting him in between Tranquility and Dash of Worry.
Wow,
However,
okay.
if he does the trade with you and he loses
Yes.
2 games in a row, I think he would go straight into certain concern.
Ooh, okay. It doesn't look like me and Bill will be getting a trade done
Oh,
because the player he
oh,
originally had offered at the beginning that had my interest, he has kind of revised.
Keenan Allen.
Yes, he has revised that offer
Oh, I
uh,
got paid out.
to now just the most he's going to offer would be Pittman and what's the other guy he has? Nico Collins.
Waddle?
No,
Oh, not even
he won't
Waddle.
even offer me Waddle. Only originally he started with Allen for Jefferson, which had my interest, and then a couple minutes or about 10 minutes later, I guess after he thought about it, then he said the most he could give me was Pittman and Nico. So it looks like Bill's team will be staying the way it is. I am going to put it a little bit lower than you guys. I'm going to put it at
oh,
heightened trepidation. As we know, injuries happen in this league quite a bit. They've already happened a lot this year, and at least with my case, I'm 4-1 with the injuries, so I can try to just suffer through. Bill is in that muck down there at 2-3. He's gotten unlucky so far this year a little bit with matchups. He has another rough one this week. If he loses this week, and then maybe someone gets hurt, like a Kamara, or someone gets another like Allen, like Zombie said, then all of a sudden his team has a little bit more concern because he doesn't have the wins already in the bank before the players get hurt. So not too big of a worry for Bill at this point early in the season, but just a little bit to be concerned. If he can stay healthy, he'll be fine. He'll be in the playoffs. All right, moving on to the second team. Obviously, we have to put my team trumping the competition in
Oh,
this for obvious reasons. Obviously, sitting at 4-1, top spot. Me and Matt both 4-1, so at least I have that going for me. But as you look at my lineup, it is significantly worse than it was last week with no JJ in there now on IR. Who knows how long he'll be out for? No James Conner in there as well, so who knows how long he'll be out for 4 weeks at least, but we'll see. So there's definitely some players in there that I would not like to see in there. So I will start first with my own team. I am going to put it at a pessimistic nervousness. Um, Obviously, losing my number one overall pick, JJ, who's been having a great year, is a huge, huge killer to my team. I'm going to need my other guys like Pollard and Walker and Metcalf and Hawkinson to pick up the slack. However, there is I'd say about a 90% chance that a trade is getting done either tonight or tomorrow to try to help bolster the overall lineup. Obviously, that makes me nervous because it's a big decision for my team to make if I trade JJ away. It's a big decision. It's hard to make because I don't know what's going to happen in the future. The Vikings are not good. If the Vikings had a better record, I would just hold on to him, take the hits for the next few weeks, and then he comes back. However, the Vikings are in a big time decision making type of team. Do they tank for the rest of the year? Do they trade Cousins? Do they bring JJ back at all because they're tanking? Like a lot of different things could happen, and I don't know what's going to happen, so that's making me nervous. So that's why I am putting myself in nervous. Zombie, where are you putting my team's panic meter at the moment?
Uh, I think if you weren't 4-1, I would put
Yes.
you in certain concern.
Okay.
But because you have the ability to lose a few games
Okay.
while also having the ability to, make a trade if you
Yeah.
want to, I'm
Yeah.
gonna put you at heightened trepidation.
Okay. Interesting. All right. I would agree with your take on that whole thing. Rat.
All right. So I don't want to bring up your first ever injury, but can I?
You mean Aaron Rodgers
Yes.
for this
I
year? You're
think
talking about.
that
I was gonna say, are you talking about
yes.
this year or last year? Cause
This year.
okay.
Um,
Yes.
I think you're in heightening trepidation. Let me explain why. I think
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers getting hurt actually helped you because you got a better quarterback at the end of the day.
Okay.
Um, I think you're being smart with Justin Jefferson. I think,
Okay.
like you said, the Vikings are going to suck. Your team's still really good with the running backs. You got the T.J. Hawkinson who's just going to get a shitload more
As long as
targets.
he
And
doesn't get hurt, knock on wood.
if you
Okay.
do make a Justin Jefferson trade and get those whatever you're looking for, I think
Wide
your team is
receivers.
fine and
Uh,
you're doing the smart move rather than holding on to Jefferson.
okay. Interesting. It's
Yeah.
a
I think
interesting
the injury will help you
take.
more than not help you obviously, but I think getting doing the Jefferson trade instead of your Metcalf idea is
Okay.
a better
It is
better
a risk
idea.
though because if
It is.
JJ comes
It
back
is.
in 4 weeks and actually plays,
It is. Yeah.
then I'm never going to get that value that I would have got
Yeah.
if JJ was playing and doing good. So, but I would agree with that take. That's why I was debating between just trading DK and holding him, but it worries me about the Vikings as a team overall. All right, Pook, where is my panic meter for my team at?
I think what's the percentage on this trade? Like realistically, what's the percentage
I said earlier,
of it getting
there
done?
one of these. I don't know who it will be with yet, but
But it's
90%,
100%, 90% that you
90%
will
gonna
do
get
a
done.
trade with anyone.
90%. There
Okay,
is an
I'm gonna tell
offer
you.
between one person that I am willing to take. It's just a matter of if the other person that I said I would give a chance to match, if he matches, then I will make it with that other person. So I guess you could say 100%, but I'm still debating because I go back and forth in my mind on if I should do the trade or not. Because then there's also Zombie's option, but he wants me to wait a week, and I don't
Okay,
want to wait a
yeah.
week.
So
Oh, I
I'm
said
gonna
wait
put
till
you
Sunday.
in between nervousness and trepidation. I
Okay.
think I just wish I had a better record because I would be offering so much for Justin Jefferson right now.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I
So
can't
you're
afford.
not
I
too
can't afford.
concerned that you think he's just going to be out for the 4 weeks and come back then?
I do,
Okay.
but given your position,
Yes.
I would keep Justin Jefferson this week. And if you
Okay.
lose, then maybe I would move him. But
Okay.
5-1
My
with
my
Jefferson out
only
three
my
weeks is a really
only
good spot in my
counter to
opinion.
that point, because that does make sense. Wait 1 week and then do it. My only counter to that would be the Vikings moved very quickly on putting him on IR. I was gonna try to move him these past 2 days before they
See,
eventually got to IR,
I
and
want to
they put
counter
him at
too.
IR real quickly. So my only concern is if the Vikings lose this week, then next week rumors start flying even more and more
Yeah, I
valid that they either are looking to move Cousins or they're looking just to shut Jefferson down for the whole year. That's my only concern is if I wait too long, the Vikings move quick on their decisions for what they're going because they are in a unique balance like this, their season's in a balance right now on how they want to go about handling all this because it's pretty complex. It ain't just you're a 1-4 team in your ass. It's you're a 1-4 team and you're out without your best player for the next 4 weeks, and you have other contract
And
type
I
issues.
agree with Golfer there because I will say that if Golfer goes 5-1, it doesn't mean that the Vikings are going to go 2-4 and hop right back in their division. They're going to fall to last place, and they're going to get even more worried. What's the point of even playing
I
if
mean,
teams in their
there's a
division?
very good suspected quarterback class next year,
Hmm.
and I don't think Justin Jefferson likes Kirk Cousins as his quarterback,
Well,
and the Vikings definitely want Justin Jefferson on their team in the future. So
I think that's fake news. I think
I
that's
think
kind of
that's
like
fake
how people
news.
say that
Okay.
Stephon Diggs hates Josh Allen, but he doesn't.
Okay.
He doesn't.
Interesting.
He doesn't hate Josh Allen.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, moving on to the next team. We have the perfect
oh,
team, Tyler. It has been far from
mm,
perfect so far this year. At 2-3, kind of mediocre points for. He's had some inconsistent performances from a lot of his guys. He's also had some injury issues with Eckler and St. Brown. But you would expect those guys to come back here probably this week. So where are we ranking Tyler's panic meter for the season at this point? Zombie.
Uh, I'll put him at Dash of Worry now that
Dash.
Eckler and St.
Really?
Brown are back.
Okay. So you're not too concerned that Tyler will. You think he'll be in the playoffs?
I think he'll be in the playoffs, yes.
Okay.
As long as, well, if Tyler gets Jefferson, then that might become discouraged dismay because you don't know what's
Okay.
going to happen.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Rat.
I'm going to put in certain concern.
Certain concern. Okay. So definitely on the total
Um,
other end of the spectrum. Okay.
I'm
Why?
not trying to say he has the worst team in the league, but
Hmm.
I think eventually Drake London and Kyle Pitts are going to be hurting his team.
Okay.
If he does the trade with Jefferson, depending on who he's giving up, he might be
There's
giving up his.
Jacoby Myers.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, but who knows the Jefferson deal at the moment, so we'll see if that does happen.
Okay.
But I just don't. Damian Pierce is also not a guy that I'm.
Just not really consistent, but
Yeah, and yeah, I just don't think his team is good enough compared to some.
okay. All right. Pook.
Um, damn. He is. I don't know why he's starting Drake London over Jacoby Myers. I
Okay.
would put. What's his points for? Five. I would put it. I would keep
545.
it there. I would keep it there. I think
Okay.
that's a good
Certain concern.
spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. I am gonna put Tyler a little bit higher up. I'm gonna say pessimistic nervousness. Um, Tyler is definitely interested in Jefferson, and we definitely have a deal pretty much panned out. So he might. There's a good chance he's gonna get him. I
Yep.
don't really think, I don't know if that really changes
Whoa.
the meter. That's why I'm putting him at the nervousness, just because of you don't know what's going to happen with Jefferson. Obviously, he understands that, and he's willing to roll the dice and take that risk. And at 2-3, maybe he looks at his team and goes, you know what? This team at 2-3, kind of mediocre points for, I get he's going to have Eckler coming back, so maybe that boosts his team quite a bit. But he does, like you said, have some guys that are very boom bust. Pitts, London. He's got, some guys that he doesn't really know what he's going to get in the back half. So does he look at this team and go, is it a championship winning type of team? And I don't know if he in his own mind sees that as a championship winning team. So maybe he's saying, you know what? Let me roll the dice with Jefferson. If I get Jefferson into my team with Eckler, that could be a deadly 1-2 combination that could win him the whole thing. So maybe that's what he's working. But at the moment, I'd put him in nervousness just because you don't know what's going to happen in the future.
I
Uh,
think
yeah.
if I think if Tyler trades for Jefferson,
Uh huh.
I don't guarantee him making the playoffs
Yeah. Well, obviously, because you don't know if
because of
Jefferson's
it.
going to come back. I
Yeah.
mean, if Jefferson comes back, I think he makes the play. So if Jefferson comes back, he makes the playoffs, right?
I mean, there's only
Mm,
there's only like 2 weeks or 3 weeks left before the playoffs. Before
What? There's 5 weeks. We're in week 5. He comes back week 9. We have until
we're
week
in week
14.
6. What?
I will say if he trades
Six, seven, eight,
Yeah, he
nine.
would come
Okay,
back
week
for week
his
10.
10.
team,
He would
his
still have
team
five
does not
games.
lock it down.
10,
I
11,
don't
12,
think.
13, 14.
I don't think
Yeah.
his team won't lock it down until Jefferson comes back. He would go on a losing streak, depending on the offer again. I don't know what
Yeah,
the
like
offer is. We don't know what
Yeah.
is giving,
Well, you'll
like
probably
if
depending
he's
find
on
out
what.
here
three and
shortly.
if he's three and
Oh,
seven going into week 10, it doesn't matter if Jefferson is back.
That's not true. He could get to
That means
seven and
that
seven
means
and
he would
make
have to go
7-7 has
perfect.
made the playoffs. So I mean, if he
Yeah,
just
he'd have
he'd
to
have to
go
win out,
perfect.
but
I don't
getting
know if
Jefferson
he's
back,
doing that.
well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can understand the reason, the points. That's why we all kind of have them around the nervousness to concern area because there's a lot of question marks. But, Tyler, I think Tyler's just one of those that's willing to take the gamble because he sees what his team has done so far. So maybe he's a little bit more willing to roll the dice, and it is a gamble. So on both sides, me trading him and him trading for him. All right, moving on to the fourth team. Obviously, we
oh,
put Pook's Glass Body or Glass Bones Club in there as well. Another 2-3 team with a lowish points for this year. A little bit similar to Tyler's team. He has got the injury bug a little bit, although he did make a trade, so he doesn't have Nakua and Gibbs anymore. He now has Saquon and Lockett's added to the team. But he does have some guys that have been inconsistent, some guys that have had some injuries. So where are we putting Pook's team Rat?
oh, I am gonna do discourage dismay.
Okay, and why?
Obviously, after the trade, Barkley,
Uh-huh.
who knows? So the difference right now is Gibbs is Barkley and Puka is Lockett.
Yep.
Um,
Lock it downs.
yeah, I like Puka better than Lock. I mean, as I said earlier, the trade was pretty even, but I do like Jesus I better.
Okay.
I think Puka's taking the risk of Barkley. Bijan is the star of the team,
Yeah, he's been
but
so far the whole season.
outside of that, I just don't think Puka has that good team to like
Okay.
put him past anywhere else.
All right.
That's just me.
Makes sense. I'll go real quick because Rat made a good point. Pook's team, the star is the number 2 guy that he drafted overall, Bijan Robinson, and he's been the star on his team the whole season so far, and it's got him to the 2-3 mark so far. So I don't know if Bijan can carry this team. He's going to need Chris Olave to step it up, or if he can work out some type of trade to get him away, to trade him away. He's going to need Mike Evans to step up and be good coming back from the injury. Mike Evans is kind of a wishy player. Sometimes he has good weeks back to back to back, and then sometimes he goes MIA. Cheese will tell you that last year when he needed him most. So getting rid of Nakua is a risk, but he wants to get rid of Gibbs and bring in a better running back that he thinks can be more secure moving forward to go with Bijan. So I'm gonna keep Pook right where Rat put him. Discourages me, just because I think when Pook drafted Bijan number 2 overall, he was obviously thinking he was going to be the workhorse guy in the run and pass game and be like a McCaffrey-esque type player. And so far, Atlanta, now it is early in the season and things can change down the stretch, but so far they have been a little bit reserved on just letting him do the full reign McCaffrey Panthers type of workload, which has him have some big games, but then has some potential for some mediocre games. And with Olave not popping off that much and Waller so far not being what Pook drafted him to be, that's why I'd be a little discouraged, dismay about moving forwards. Also, Anthony Richardson being hurt. Yes, Stroud has been good, but Richardson has that big boom potential with his legs and the way he's been playing. So that's a little bit of a hurt as well. So that's what I'll put Pook in. Zombie, where are we putting the panic meter on Pook's team?
I'm gonna put him in certain concern.
Okay.
They
And why?
made the trade, but I don't know how much it'll help him.
Okay. All right.
His wide receivers are very suspect.
Uh-huh. If Olave starts popping off and looking like the guy he was last year, that will definitely boost Pook's team quite a bit. He just hasn't shown it yet this year. For some reason, him and Carr and now whoever they're using at quarterback hasn't. Or Carr, did Carr play this past week?
Yeah,
Okay. For whatever reason, him and
but
Carr haven't been able to
they
get.
blew him out. They didn't need to pass. They won
Okay.
34-0.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Pook. Oh,
Also,
go ahead, Zombie. What?
also his quarterback got hurt, and
Yeah.
I have the
Stroud's
best OSU quarterback in the NFL right now.
Stroud's good, but he's not gonna be the runner that Richardson is. He's not
Yeah.
like a Lamar type runner.
Yeah.
So
I mean, do
I
we
would
not see
usually,
Kirk Cousins being
with
quarterback four?
hold on with Pook's statement on that. I would agree he is the best Ohio State quarterback in the NFL. However, I would disagree that he is the best fantasy OSU quarterback in the NFL.
I don't disagree with
So,
that,
and
but
we are
the thing
talking about
is,
fantasy. So,
with Stroud, I am going to be guaranteed 10 to 22 points every week. With Fields,
uh,
it's anywhere from 4 to 30.
okay.
So I will take the 10 to
You
20
want
over
the
the
okay.
chance of getting 4 points and him losing my week.
Okay. Interesting. All right, Pook. So, where's your panic meter for your team?
I am at pessimistic nervousness.
Ooh,
Nope.
okay. Interesting.
I think to counterclaim your Mike Evans, the only reason he had boomer bust is because Brady was an actual good quarterback.
Uh,
Meanwhile, Baker will just force it to Mike Evans if nobody's open
okay.
instead of Brady taking the check down. So I think Mike Evans has a bigger chance to do well.
Okay.
And I am very excited for Deontay Johnson to come back.
Okay. All right.
He
Interesting.
said he is ready to come back next week.
Uh-huh.
I just need 8 catches for 40 yards, and that's fine by me.
Okay. Well, we'll see if you get that. Any comments on Bijan Robinson so far this year? We haven't been able to get your thoughts on him
He
through
just
five
doesn't
weeks.
get he doesn't get the touchdowns that
Okay.
McCaffrey does. They have the same, they have very similar stats. It's just the touchdowns that separate them.
Okay. All right. So a nervousness for your team. I'd say that's about right for you at this point. It's a little bit of a different year. You're kind of at, like you mentioned, you're at the same point you were last year, and then you turned on the
But
Jets
a
and
lot
got the
less
wins.
points for.
Yeah, a lot less points for, so that's kind of part of the nervousness, I would think, into it. The team hasn't produced like it did last year at this stage. So we'll see moving forward how that pans out. Obviously, this week, as you already mentioned, is a big one for your team. If you lose a low scoring affair, then you might have a little bit more into the dismay or concern category. All right, moving on to the last team for this week's Panic Meter. Obviously, we
Oh
have to put
no.
the new record-setting Cheese team into this at 2-3, coming off a great record. Congratulations once again to Cheese for that record. 41 points last week. I don't know how. I'll start with this one because, yes, he made a move today, which he probably feels like he needed to make after 41 points. I think anybody would be trying to make moves after scoring 41 points. So he ships out his boy Barkley. Gets a much better wide receiver to go along with CeeDee Lamb and Ayuk, so that's a strong three wide receiver mix there. But he does downgrade some on the running back, but I guess he's hoping that the Gibbs potential starts booming here eventually. If that happens, then he's looking pretty good. So that's not a horrible catastrophic after scoring 41 points. His points for is very low though, only not even 500 yet, so that's got to be a concern. Obviously, when you score only 41 points, that will happen. So I'm going to put Cheese in certain concern category because when you score 41 points and set a record, you should be concerned about your team moving forward. Um, Although there is some glimmers of hope in Cheese's lineup, especially with the trade now. He does have some type of hope and some plan moving forward. He has faced a lot of points against as well, so there's that factor. Maybe his schedule gets a little easier. He gets some lucky wins moving forward. At 2-3, he's not in last place, so he has a chance to move it around. But I would be concerned if I'm Cheese when my team scores 41 points in a week, and you have some injuries like Aaron Jones. Is he going to come back? And how will he look? So there's definitely question marks and concern, in my opinion, for Cheese's team. He did say about his own team that his panic is moderately high, so he didn't even use the terms. So moderately high, I guess, is maybe certain concern, or maybe in between concern and
Certain
hysteria.
concerns good enough.
Yeah, for moderately high, due to the injuries piling up, but still in the hunt. So he is true about that. 2-3, you're in that big mess of 2-3. You're literally like one win from just being in a playoff spot because some of these 2-3 teams will lose. So it's not like he's 0-5 and then put 41 points up. He does have a couple wins on the board already. Rat, where are you putting your boy Cheese's team's panic meter at?
I'm keeping him in certain concern.
Certain. Okay.
Like I said about the trade, I think the trade was even, but it did make more sense for Cheese.
Okay.
I know Gibbs is hurt and Aaron Jones, but I do think Aaron Jones finally does return soon.
Okay.
Um, and he gets an upgrade at wide receiver. You know, Kyron Williams has been his lifesaver. If he didn't have him, then
Yeah,
this
that was a
season
good
could
pickup
be
by him early on in the
turning
season.
upside down. If he just keeps starting golf and just stops starting Jordan Love,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't see why he did that the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
His team will look better with those three wide receivers, I think, because
Okay.
that would be.
So at the moment, would you say Cheese is a playoff team?
No, I think
No.
it could
Okay.
just depend on matchups, who he's playing.
Okay.
I think I think it's gonna be close though. He's
Okay.
gonna
So he'll be in the
compete for
hunt
that.
for the playoffs, but
He'll
then miss
he'll
out.
be in that hunt for that last spot or
Spot.
two.
Okay. All right. Pook.
Put him in irreparable catastrophe.
Ooh,
Really? Wow. Okay. Are
wow.
we all the way at the bottom of it or just in the middle of it?
We are
All the way at the bottom is you think he's getting last place.
we are all the way at the bottom because he won't give me
Ooh.
the 3 extra fab like a little bitch.
Well,
Okay.
If he is that concerned over 3 fab, then he is in an irreparable catastrophe.
wow.
His team is absolutely shitting the bed.
Oh,
He has less
okay.
points for than me, which I didn't even know was humanly possible.
Yeah, well,
Apparently,
41
if he
points
scored
will do that.
41, it will happen. I
Yeah.
think the fact that Richard Sherman called CeeDee Lamb not a true wide receiver one is
Ooh.
going to cause
Okay.
irreparable mental damage to him,
Ooh.
and he will quit the
Okay.
season midway.
Wow.
I
Okay.
think Jahmyr Gibbs will never come back from this hamstring injury for the rest of the
Ooh.
season. They'll shut him down,
Okay.
make David Montgomery the bell cow back.
Mm,
I guess
okay.
IU could do well, and that's
Okay.
about it.
Wow. Strong, strong statements there from Pook. I'm sure, I mean, a little bit of that is the whole $3 fab trade part of it, but okay. Strong statements. All right. Zombie, are you agreeing with Pook?
Uh, I'm gonna put him in hopeless hysteria.
Ooh. Okay.
For several weeks, Cheese kept telling me he had an elite team, and it led to
41
scoring
points.
the least points ever. So this is an elite team, man.
this is this is elite, all right. Elite. It's in its own category of its own now. It's that elite.
I think I think his running backs are not good,
Okay.
and his wide receivers, while they're good, they're not gonna be able to carry him like Matt.
Okay. All right. Very interesting takes. All right, that is this week's edition of the Panic Meter. We will see what teams get in next week, as I'm sure there'll be some more injuries slash trades slash other issues that happen that will cause some concern
Let's
for
get
some
this
teams next week.
Justin Jefferson trade on live television.